What's up, guys? Memorex, back with a brand new video. In today's video, we have Grimm, a Deconstruction of Villainy by Fat Bread. And this was recommended to me by Braden Stewart. Now, the moment I heard it was Hollow Knight, I automatically knew I had to do it, bro. We got more lore videos. Y'all know I'm really loving these lore videos, so I had to hop on it. So this is actually going over the Hollow Knight DLC. And I think I actually do slightly recall it when we reacted to the Hollow Knight lore video that the dude who was saying, which I think was it Squatch Gaming Official? It was Squatch. I think it was Squatch Gaming Official doing it. Or was it? No, I think it was somebody else. I think it was Mossbag, yeah. Excuse me, it was Mossbag who was doing the Hollow Knight lore video. I think I do remember him mentioning the DLC a little bit. But now we get an actual breakdown of the lore of the DLC. I'm assuming the DLC is not very long since this video is only 26 minutes. But hey, I'm gonna get into it. I noticed he has a good amount of other Hollow Knight videos on here. So I'm saying though, if y'all want me to react to some of these other Hollow Knight videos, I will do them. I really will do them. I really would be willing to check out some of these other Hollow Knight videos if y'all think they're worth checking out. I also noticed, we're going to quickly step away from here real quick, go to this channel. Hey, Fat Brick, what's good? He got some Elden Ring Night Rain lore videos. Okay, so I know I may not have Souls fans like that in my comment section, but that might be some ones I want to check out just for the sake of it, bro. Cause like, if you know me, I love Souls games, and Elden Ring Night Rain has been a favorite game of mine for a hot while. I think I've got like almost 200 hours in that game. So I definitely will be willing to watch a lore break, especially when they got one for Haolister, specifically for Haolister. Oh yeah, I definitely be willing to check that. But anyhow, let's get back to this. But yeah, let's not waste no time. Let's just get into this. This video wasn't that uploaded that long ago. It was literally 12 days ago it's uploaded. So hey, let's go ahead and get into this. I think probably, oh yeah, this is day 18 of the 30-day May challenge. I think probably Wednesday, either tomorrow or Wednesday, we're gonna react to that new pilot episode that Glitch dropped for that new series. But anyhow, let's go ahead and get into this.
One of the central themes of Hollow Knight's story is mortality. As Hive Queen Vespa says, quote, "To rail against nature is folly. All things must accept an end." As we discussed in my previous videos, both the Radiance and the Pale King refused to accept this simple fact. They refused to die. This refusal led not only to their own destruction, but to the untold suffering of countless other innocent bugs. But then how does Grimm, the master of the Nightmare Troupe, fit into this story? Here's a character who appears to defy the core themes of the very narrative he belongs to, because he has found the secret of immortality. But in order to live forever, first he had to sacrifice everything that made life worth living in the first place. To explain what I mean, let's examine another character, Brum, one of the servants of the troupe. At first, Brum does not appear to have any personality whatsoever. He has nothing to say and nothing to do. He just sits here in this tent playing the same drab melody on his accordion over and over and over. On your initial encounter, he says, quote, "You called us? Speak to Master." If you come back after speaking with Grimm, he says, quote, "The flame, seek it out, for Master, for our kin." Notice how stripped down his dialogue is. It has no emotion whatsoever. He might as well be a robot. There's only one thing he cares about, the ritual, collecting the scarlet flame of a dying kingdom. That is his only purpose. He has nothing else. No hobbies, no interests, no personal motivations or goals. His life is empty. And that is a word Brum himself will later use to describe his own character. Empty. Towards the end of the Grimm Troop questline, when the ritual has nearly reached its final phase, Brum appears in the distant village. And here his dialogue has changed slightly. It has taken on a melancholy, brooding note. This is not a character who has found happiness in immortality. He says, quote, "You came, the red flame I've gathered from this dead kingdom. You would claim it for our master, for his final act. The ritual plays itself out once more. We are like the notes in an old song. You and me. Endless, repeating songs of sacrifice, of servitude, for the ritual, for the troop, for the master. Even this child was born into invisible chains. So we serve. Thus it has ever been, yes? Take the flame then, it is why you came here. Notice the choice of vocabulary. He describes the ritual as a song of sacrifice and servitude, and the troop as bound by invisible chains. This reveals that the Grimm troop are not the ones in control of the ritual, just the opposite, it is in control of them. They are little more than slaves to these.
I'm not even gonna lie, bro. That boy Grimm's design go hard. I'm sorry. Like, when you really stare at it, it's like, it's simple, but it's like something about that. Well, I don't know if we really call that a simple design, but it's just like there's not a whole, like, it's not a whole, it's not doing too much, if that's what I'm trying to say. But it's just so good though. So I just had to point that out.
It is in control of them. They are little more than slaves to the Scarlet Heart at its core, and as a consequence of their immortality, not even death can release them from their perpetual bondage. The rest of the troop, the Grimmkin novices and masters, who collect the Scarlet Flame around Hallownest, are constantly laughing and giggling, and I wonder if the reason they laugh is an attempt to hide their true feelings, because deep down maybe they feel the same melancholy and pointlessness as Brum expresses here. Or maybe their unnaturally long lives have simply caused them to go insane. Whatever the case, Brum has grown so dissatisfied with his life here that he is willing to commit an act of sabotage, to cut down the ritual at its root, and banish the Grimm troop forever. He says, quote, "It is done, and yet, it is not merely by fortune that we meet here in the darkest, furthest reaches of the world, where my master's scarlet eyes cannot see us. A song that never ends is no song at all. You take part in the ritual, yet I sense you truly have no master. Is it so? Perhaps together we can banish that livid flame and let this dead kingdom rest in peace. If you wish to silence the endless song, meet me where it began." And if you dream nail him, he thinks, quote, "Yes, we are merely vessels for the flame, but were we always empty?" If you follow his instructions and meet him at the source of the ritual, he says, quote, "So you followed me here to where the ritual began. You would join me in breaking it then. It is painful to defy the master, but our harvest, it profanes this dark, quiet kingdom. This once I would see the ritual fail. Now, let us destroy the anchor and banish the master. Never shall he return here again." Afterwards, the troop disappears, but a new character.
It's always some of the wildest stories where this one character who's just extremely loyal. The great, I don't know if Brahm's actually that crazy loyal to Grimm, but it's like, it's always the craziest story when you see the one that's so extremely loyal eventually turn on their master. Like, dang. I will say though, it makes for a better story if you actually show that master actually feeling some type of grievance from having their most loyal servant betray them. Instead of just having them just immediately, instead of just imagining me and be like, forget you. I just had to bring that up.
Turn here again. Afterwards, the troop disappears, but a new character appears, and this is where the story starts to get really interesting. This is Nim, who looks suspiciously like Brum, but their personalities could not be more different. On his first meeting, he says, quote, "Ah, hello, I'm new around these parts, so it's marvelous to see so friendly a face in such a sad town. The old bug over there was very welcoming, but still I find the place a little melancholy, what with the wind and the darkness and the sense of decline. I was hoping my music could go some way to livening the place up, and now you've arrived with that wonderful, charming aura about you. The whole town feels brighter for it. Before you hurry about your business, I have a small gift to commemorate a wonderful new friendship. No use for it myself, but I believe it'd look rather fancy upon you. Please enjoy it, and let's hope to see much more of one another about town. My dear friend, are you enjoying my music? It's as upbeat a tune as I know, but I must admit, even it falls a little on the sadder side. Please know I play it with joy. Being in this town, beside such good company as yourself, I feel remarkably, refreshingly content." Finally cut free from the ritual, he has so much more personality, so much more energy.
Wait. Sorry, I heard no. Anyhow, are they gonna say, so they said this is Nim or something like that. Are they trying to say that this is Brahm? Like, is this actually Brahm? Like, he's cut ties from the dang rituals and stuff like that. So now he's not only smart, cause he's small. He's smaller than how Brahm was, right? Because yeah, Brahm's way bigger than him. But he looks pretty similar to Brahm. So is this like actually like Brahm, but cut ties from whole immortality ritual and stuff like that? And so that actually is him. Is that what they're gonna say?
Company as yourself, I feel remarkably, refreshingly content. Finally cut free from the ritual, he has so much more personality, so much more energy and excitement and enthusiasm and zest for life. Remember how stripped down and plain his dialogue was before? Well, now you can hardly get him to shut the heck up. This
Oh, so I guess that what it is. So Nim is Braun, but just cut ties from all the dang rituals and stuff like that. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Funny enough, on the first playthrough, if I were to run into Nim, I would not think I probably would not think that's Braun, and I would be really just wondering where Braun go.
dialogue was before? Well, now you can hardly get him to shut the heck up. This drastic change in personality demonstrates exactly what Brum had to sacrifice in exchange for his immortality. The ritual might as well be a form of lobotomy. Sure, you get to live forever, but as little more than a zombie. However, with all that said, Team Cherry never tells straight black and white stories. It is never as simple as good guys versus bad guys. Brum's former relationship with the troupe is complicated by his next dialogue, where he says, quote, "Just marvelous. I'm so glad you'd consider my gift worth wearing. And my, it does suit you well. To be honest, I'm not even sure where I came upon it, but staring at its design, my memory stirs. Something and someone forgotten, lost far away. The specifics elude me, but a strange sense remains. Fear, but also longing, like a strange nostalgia for something that never happened." If life in the Grimm Troop was really as terrible as I have described, then why would Nim feel longing for that life after he has finally been set free? Well, notice that Nim is completely alone in the world now. He has no family, no friends, no purpose. He is just left stranded here in this dead kingdom in this lonely little village. And notice how desperate he is for companionship, how hard he tries to make new friends, how immediately attached he becomes to the only other living creature who pays him any attention at all. As part of the Grimm Troop, for all of its negatives, he still had a family and a purpose. They may be empty, but at least they are empty together. But let's talk more about Grimm himself. How is he characterized in this story? First and foremost, he is the leader of what he calls a troupe. The Grimmkin are meant to resemble an actor's troupe, meaning a group of traveling performers. These are people who would move from town to town, putting on little shows, eking out some meager living from the generosity of their crowds. An actor in a troupe has no home, no settled life. They are constantly drifting from place to place. If you dream-nail the Grimm steeds outside of the tent, they think, quote, "A new land, different from the last. How many more will we see? The roads between are dark and long, but the Master's light will always guide us," which emphasizes their itinerant lifestyle. But the Grimm Troop does not perform a play. Instead, they perform a ritual. The same ritual every single time. However, before we discuss that ritual in more detail, let's take a look at Grimm's opening dialogue. He says, quote, "So, it was you who called us. Well met, my friend, well met. I am Grimm, master of this troop. The lantern has been lit, and your summons heeded. A fine stage you choose, this kingdom fallowed by worm and root. Perfect earth upon which our ritual shall take place. And you, my friend, your own part is far from over. As the lantern flared, your role was cast, our compact written in scarlet fire. Eager we are to see you commence, but first, some illumination is required. Across these lands my kin now spread, harvesting that essence peculiar to my breed, the flame and dream. Seek my kin, claim their flame, and return it to me. Together marvels shall be achieved. But don't fret, small one. For this task you won't travel alone. My child shall guide you to the flame, and gather within itself that burning essence." Like you, the child plays key role in this task. Only with it by your side will the flame and my kin reveal themselves to you. Well, this is certainly a stark contrast to the very plain dialogue of Grimm we examined before. By
Right.
comparison, Grimm...
Yeah, I know Grimm's like the master of the truth, but it is still kind of strange because, like, obviously Grimm's immortal like the rest of them. How he still has his own personality and stuff like that compared to dang Brum. So I wonder why that is. Is it because like hold on, I'm trying to put my theories together before they reveal anything crazy or anything like that. To me it sounded like maybe Grimm doesn't completely hate the whole immortality thing. Like he's probably one of those ones that loves being immortal or whatever. I really my brain doesn't want to process. So like compared to everyone else, their dialogues are just plain, boring, blank. Like they have no personality on them. They're like dead inside. Grimm is clearly, you can tell he still has his own personalities and stuff like that, but he's immortal. Maybe even has a different level of immortality compared to the rest of them. So it's like, only thing I could think of is like Grimm started this whole ritual thing, and he's basically maybe he's using it to add on to his own immortality. That's the only thing, and maybe just because it's part of, and because it's a ritual he started, it doesn't like affect him personality wise like the rest of them. That's my theory so far.
is elegant, dialogue of Grimm we examined before. By comparison, Grimm is elegant, dramatic, and loquacious. He wears a mask of refinement and, fitting his role as leader of the acting troupe, he often describes himself and the ritual in the language of theater. A fine stage you choose, as the lantern flared, your role was cast. Before his first boss fight, he will say, quote, "Dance with me, my friend, the crowd awaits. Show them you are worthy of a starring role." He describes all of his own actions as nothing more than a performance, but the truth is, the ritual is very real, and it is going to have very real consequences for both himself and his kin. How are we meant to interpret this use of theatrical language? Why does he speak this way? Well, Confessor Gigi gives us a hint in his description of the Grimm troupe. He says, quote, "A fierce host has settled nearby. Did you summon them? I find their smell unsettling. Theirs is a scent of distant places, unfamiliar even to me. They have a strange look to them, gaudy and intimidating. Perhaps you suspect they hide their true appearance. You'd be right. They favor projection over truth, shrouding themselves in forms dreamed." So let's think about the idea of performance in terms of fiction. Whenever a character in a story is performing in a big, obvious way like this, it is because they are using that performance to hide something. Projection over truth.
Is that the Paintress? Man, bro, that's the Paintress. The dang that just got spoiled on what she actually looks like up close, man. Because I've been playing Expedition 33. Well, I haven't gotten back to it in a minute. I've been like in the very beginning. I'm like close to the very beginning. I saw a part where dang, the main character lost this girl and she disappeared from one of the Painters making a new number up there. But we never get a full close up look at the Paintress. What she actually looks like. But let me shut up and get back to the video.
Because they are using that performance to hide something. Projection over truth. Usually something they do not want to face themselves. Okay, then what truth is Grimm hiding from? I mean, this is one of the most difficult enemies the player will face in the entire game, and likely one of the most...
I ain't gonna lie, the way he looks here, he reminds me of dang Alistair from Hazbin Hotel. Granted, I haven't watched Hazbin Hotel to keep it a buck with y'all, but I've seen his design, and when I look at the design, it kind of reminds me of Alistair.
One of the most difficult enemies the player will face in the entire game, and likely one of the most powerful characters in the Hollow Knight universe. What could possibly be so scary that even he is afraid to confront it directly? To answer that question, we need to take a closer look at the ritual itself. What exactly is this ritual? Well, as Grimm said in that opening dialogue, the ritual involves sending the Grimmkin, members of the troop across the kingdom to collect Scarlet Flame, which is then stored in the Grimm child's body. The Grimm child is this little guy, probably Grimm's own son, who travels with the knight while the ritual is being performed. Alright, well then, what is the Scarlet Flame and why are the Grimmkin collecting it? In that opening dialogue, Grimm described it as a form of essence. Essence is related to dreams and plays a key role in the seer's questline. At one point, she describes it as, quote, essence, the precious fragments of light that dreams are made of. Collect it wherever you find it and bring it to me. Once we have enough, we can work wonders together. This directly parallels Grimm when he says, quote, seek my kin, claim their flame and return it to me. Together, marvels shall be achieved. In the world of Hollow Knight, dreams are more than just hallucinations you experience while sleeping. The dream realm is another living dimension, separate from but closely tied to the physical world. A place where the laws of reality can be broken and anything is possible. And the dream realm is composed of essence. You could think of it the same way that the physical world is made up of molecules and atoms. And essence can be generated by bugs after death. They can leave their spirits behind, ghosts, which are also composed of essence. They're lingering memories or regrets that live on even after their physical body has passed away. The knight collects this dream essence to strengthen the dream nail, an ancient artifact which the player requires to destroy the Radiance, the source of the infection that caused Hallownest's collapse, and a powerful being who appears to exist solely inside the dream world, similar to the way the Grimm troop's Scarlet Heart appears to exist solely inside their nightmare.
That's a heart in the background? See, this whole time I was thinking like, that's like designed after Grimm in the background, something like that. That's a whole heart in the background?
Being who appears to exist solely inside the dream world, similar to the way the Grimm troop's Scarlet Heart appears to exist solely inside their nightmare.
I did not realize that was a heart in the background.
Okay, so how does the Scarlet Flame fit into all of this? How is it different from normal essence? The Troop Master Journal description includes a quotation from Grimm, where he says, quote, through dream I travel at lantern's call, to consume the flames of a kingdom's fall. With this description in mind, it seems that, just like a bug can leave dream essence behind after dying, so can a kingdom leave behind Scarlet Flame after dying. These are the lingering memories and regrets not just of a single bug, but of an entire civilization, thousands upon thousands of bugs. Therefore, this flame must be very powerful. The journal entry for the Grimmkin Master describes it in much more colorful language, quote, a spark of red lights darkest dream. Scarlet nightmares bright and wild, visions dance and flames do speak. Burn the father, feed the child. The seer uses dream essence to fuel the dream now. So what are the Grimmkin using their equivalent for? Well, they are powering something else, something much worse. Remember when Brum said, quote, it is painful to defy the master.
One thing I did notice that Grimm's son, or whatever that is, I'm thinking he like kind of his design kind of changed as you find the flames. I'm thinking of because look at how he looks here. He looks different than he did earlier. Hold on, let me see if I can like back up. I'm trying to see if I can back up to where. Yeah. See, look at him in this picture. I'm at 1540. 1540, remember that, y'all. Yeah, see, look how he looks here. Yeah, see, he's kind of almost like he's still in like a cocoon or something like that. But if we go back to where we were at, 15... See, he looks different. Okay, that's a cool detail. He slowly starts changing as you find more of the flames, okay?
It profanes this. It is painful to defy the master, but our harvest, it profanes this dark, quiet kingdom. The word profane means impure, defiled, debased, unworthy, vulgar. The use of the word profane suggests that what the Grimmkin are doing here, their use of the Scarlet Flame to prolong their own lives, is wrong. It is something ugly. And the Nightmare King Grimm journal description includes a quotation from the seer, where she says, quote, "The expansive dream and past was split. One realm must now stay apart. Darkest reaches beating red. Terror of sleep, the nightmare's heart." As revealed by the seer's quotation, as punishment for their profane misuse of essence, the Grimmkin were exiled from the rest of the dream realm in the distant past, banished into their own separate nightmare, and at the core of that nightmare is a living heart. You can actually see this heart in the background of the dream arena where you battle Nightmare Grimm, and halfway through that confrontation, it begins to glow with a scarlet internal light. This is what they are feeding their scarlet flame to, the true source of their eternal life. But
So now, that makes me wonder. It's like, I'm not sure, like, did they succeed in feeding all the scarlet flame that they're trying to feed to it? Does that heart actually belong to a physical being? So, like, when it gets all the powers it needs, like, that become like a physical monster. Cause like that's insane. Cause that heart is huge. So like, what could that be the heart to? Could that actually like be the heart to some giant monster? Cause Hollow Knight is not it's not shy about having giant monsters. You see what the dang knight becomes in one of the endings.
remember, the Scarlet Flame is first stored inside the Grimm child's body. The description of the Grimm child charm at the end of the questline reads, quote, "Symbol of a completed ritual, contains a living scarlet flame." So how does it get out of the child and into the heart? And why does the heart only begin to glow halfway through the battle with Grimm? Well, I suspect that is the purpose of the fight. It is the knight's role to literally beat the scarlet flame out of him, to break him open so that the essence can come pouring out. In effect, you are tearing his soul out of his body and feeding it to this creature of nightmares. Remember, we began this investigation with the question, what is Grimm trying to hide with his over-the-top performance, all of that theatrical language? Well, here it is. He is facing his own death, and this is his coping mechanism. He treats it like just a performance, just a role to play, to make it easier to deal with. Because the truth is, Grimm has no choice here. As Brum says, if you dream nail him in the Howling Cliffs, quote, "Master, are even you a slave? If so, let our chains be broken together." And his dialogue in the distant village makes it even clearer when he says, quote, "Even this child was born into invisible chains." The Grimm child we are traveling with will someday be sacrificed in the exact same way. It was
Oh, so that's the case. If it's going that way, what if Grimm isn't the first Grimm? So what if there was somebody else before Grimm doing this? And so like they knew they were destined to one day die in order to fuel the Scarlet Flame into that heart. So what if the dang the child, I forgot what they call the child, but this child, I mean, you can even tell it's obviously real. Grimm's child even has the same face as Grimm. This child will basically eventually become Grimm and suffer the same fate. But I want to but I want to say, are they planning on extracting the Scarlet Fire out like of the child while it's still a child? While it's still a child, are they planning on like letting him grow up all the way until it becomes literally another Grimm and it'll go out the same way Grimm's going out? See, that generally makes me wonder now. We'll see what they explain.
we are traveling with will someday be sacrificed in the exact same way. It was born to carry out a single purpose, to serve as a vessel of the Scarlet Flame, and then to be cut down to feed the nightmare's heart. The ritual is an endless cycle of life, death, and rebirth. As the journal entry for the Grimmkin Nightmare reads, quote, "Dance and die and live forever. Silent voices shout and sing. Stand before the troop's dark heart. Burn away the Nightmare King." Whenever you are analyzing a character, in addition to what a character says about themselves, you should also pay attention to what other characters say about them. So let's take a look. When the Grimm troop arrives in Dirtmouth, the Elder Bug characteristically throws a fit, saying, quote, "Ah, look there, something strange and sinister has suddenly appeared. Ugh, it fills me with dread. I think it best I try to ignore it." Sly is less hysterical, but just as suspicious of the newcomers, saying, quote, "I've been hearing about the strangers that have come to town. They're strange indeed from what's been told. What interest does this tired little place hold for them? I'm thinking you may know the answer to that. None of my business, of course, but I'd be wary of their deals and promises. Keep your nail half drawn if you understand me." And then there is Iselda, who says, quote, "Have you seen them, the travelers who set up camp outside of town? I was interested at first, not a lot has been happening lately, but they have a sinister feeling to them. You can feel it, right? I've told Cornifer he's not to speak to them. His heart and his mind are a little too open sometimes." And finally, there is Confessor Gigi, whose reaction we examined earlier, but who has one additional line, quote, "Best be careful, assisting them might benefit you, but who knows what suffering it may cause." Everyone in Dirtmouth is wary of the Grimm troop, and they all warn the knight to be careful, to keep his nail half drawn. These warnings will lead the audience to be suspicious of Grimm, to suspect that he is going to betray us, or that he is going to try and hurt someone. This suspicion will be further reinforced by his visual design, which is clearly meant to resemble the archetypical vampire. The long cape,
Bro, I didn't even pay attention that he kind of looks like a vampire. I didn't even realize it until I seen him upside down like this. Oh, that's hilarious. He does look like a vampire.
Which is clearly meant to resemble the archetypical vampire. The long cape, the pale face and red eyes, his sharp teeth and false, elegant manners, and even more so by his sound design. I am going to play a few of his voice lines now, just listen for yourself.
Daka, volente, gorema, gosumen, farefel, vonelgato.
You can easily hear just how old Grimm really is. His voice is raspy and papery and thin, his delivery labored and slow. This is a very, very, very old character at the end of his life. However,
Oh, still a creepy mindset, bro. Hold on a second, y'all. My dog making noise in the background. Give me a second. Alright, sorry about that, y'all. I'm back. My dog was making some noise in the background. Now, I decided to back it up some just because I want to hear that again. Hear that again because, like, I was not expecting him to sound like that. Especially after hearing all these, especially from actually playing a little bit of Hollow Knight and hearing all these other characters making these cute noises, and then there's just him.
Yourself.
Daka, volente, gorema, gosumen, farefel, vonelgato.
You can easily hear.
Yeah, you could definitely hear his age. You could definitely hear his age. It's like when you look at him, he does not look as old as he sounds, bro. Like you could just hear the raspiness and the raspiness in his voice, bro. That's insane.
You can easily hear just how old Grimm really is. His voice is raspy and papery and thin, his delivery labored and slow. This is a very, very, very old character at the end of his life. However, the ironic truth is that, for all the warnings of the residents of Dirtmouth, the only person Grimm actually hurts is himself. He is the sacrifice. In this way, Team Cherry turns the typical vampire story on its head. So, how exactly does the immortality of the Grimm troop work? How does he survive his ritual death? Well, it is never explicitly explained, but I think it all revolves around the Nightmare's heart. I think that is literally the heart of the troop. They all share one heart and one soul. This is made clear by the White Lady's dialogue. If you interact with her while wearing the Grimm Child charm after the ritual is complete, she says, quote, "Your companion's eyes burn with a familiar flame. Success then for the Scarlet Heart, and irony to use my spawn to grow its own. I know you, creature, and the form time shall bring. You may be all and one, clan and master, but this land shall never bear so foreign a king." So this sounds to me like yet another form of hive mind, a twisted version of the Radiance's infection. The way that infection works is that the Radiance worms its way into a bug's very mind through their memories. And I think the Scarlet Heart is doing something similar, occupying the brains of the bugs in the Grimm troop. This cerebral infusion is what causes the lobotomy-like symptoms we saw in Brumm's dialogue. When Grimm's body is burned, the scarlet flame he held inside himself is fused with the heart, and so he lives on within the collective soul of the troop, along with whatever memories or regrets were collected from the dying kingdom that facilitated the current cycle of the ritual. And then his role as leader of the troop will be taken over by the Grimm Child, who will eventually be sacrificed in turn, and so the ritual cycle goes on and on and on. This is the role he was born to serve, and so his use of theatrical language is not just a coping mechanism, but also a literal description of his circumstances. His life was written for him before he was even born, just like a character in a play. Before I end this video, we need to talk more about the White Lady. If you interact with her while wearing the Grimm Child charm before the ritual is complete, she says, quote, "Ah, that creature beside. It would be naive to claim it friend, though you two share a similarity. It is a distant link, one words would strain to convey." What similarity is she talking about? Well, just think about it.
Yeah, I got that one. I know that one. Both of them were born specifically for a role. Specifically for a role. Like, the night he was born to contain the Radiance. To hopefully contain the Radiance. Even though he was considered the failure of one. But that's still technically what he was born for. And then obviously the Grimm Child was born to contain the Scarlet Flame. And have it ready for the sacrifice to the heart.
About it. Both the Knight and the Grimm Child were created to fulfill a specific role, to contribute to the perpetuation of their respective community, to be sacrificed so that others can live. The Knight is a vessel created by the Pale King to hold the Radiance prisoner inside of its body. If all goes as planned, the Knight will be held in chains inside the Black Egg Temple forever, sacrificing its own life so that Hallownest may become eternal. And so you see the Grimm troop is not as foreign as it may at first seem. Their ritual is a direct parallel of the story of Hallownest. We began this video by asking the question, how does Grimm, an apparently immortal being, fit into this story about mortality and the inevitability of death and the dangers of refusing to accept your end when it comes? Well, it turns out the answer is, he fits in perfectly.
Yeah.
The Grimm troop may get to live forever, but it is only at a very high cost, and their eternal life is so empty that they may as well be dead already. That is the end of my video examining the character of Grimm, and also the end of my series of videos covering the stories of both Silksong and Hollow Knight. If Silksong ever receives a major story expansion, I will be back to analyze the new content. But until then, this is goodbye, and thank you for watching.
Alright, yeah, that was peak, bro. Dang, that was awesome. So like, right, I know you said that the DLC really doesn't have too crazy tie-ins for this towards the story, but towards the main story of Hollow Knight. But you could definitely tell it's got some parallels to the story. It's basically, I love the way they go about for the DLC, bro. I'm gonna have to find Grimm. Like, I don't know if I gotta get the DLC alongside Hollow Knight, 'cause I know I have Hollow Knight from PlayStation Plus on my PS5, so I'm not sure I'm gonna have to hop on there. See, do I have to get the DLC separately, or does it automatically come with the PlayStation Plus subscription? Hopefully it comes with it, and that way I can try it out. But yeah, this seems peak, bro. Now I wanna go play Hollow Knight, bro. Bro, I really enjoyed this. But yeah, let me know if y'all want me to check out any of his other Hollow Knight videos. Fat Brett, I love the video, and I will more than likely definitely be coming back to react to some of the Night Rain videos. But yeah, if y'all want me to react to some of the other Hollow Knight videos, though, let me know. Because I would not mind learning even more about the Hollow Knight lore, or just getting clarity about a lot of the lore. So I definitely would be willing to come back. But yeah, this is gonna be the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, I hope sheesh, words are hard. I can never say more words. If you like this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below which you want to see me react to next time. And until next time, y'all, see ya.